So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're gonna talk about Archguns a little bit, specifically how Archguns perform versus the Hemo side from Plaguestar. So, this was just kind of like a random thing that I did because I've played through Plaguestar multiple times now, so I wanted to spice it up a little bit, and I decided to use just Archguns for it. And while I was at it, I wanted to try the Necramech as well. And first of all, if you have a Necramech, like at least a solid setup on it, I have a full build on it, but I don't think you need it. You should definitely do it with a Necramech. It has more than enough beefiness to survive even a fully juiced up Plaguestar. That's when you add 4 of each of the vials. And you also don't have to worry about ammo, because if you fully juice up the Plaguestar, you're gonna have 4 hemo sites that are increasingly more difficult, so most Archguns will not make it through it. You won't have enough ammo, so you're gonna have to bring Dispensary, whether it is on Protea or you subsume it on another frame, or you're gonna have to rely on heavy ammo drops from things like Ancients. But that's not a problem on a Necramech, because on a Necramech the ammo recharges on its own. So which Archgun performed the best? Well, I think this is gonna be a bit of a surprise. It was definitely a surprise for me, because the Archgun that performed by far the best was the Kuva Grattler. I was damn near sure it was going to be the Mausolon, because the Mausolon kind of dominated all other Archguns in pretty much every way imaginable ever since it was released. But here the Kuva Grattler felt by far the best, because you need a combination of things. You don't just want single target, because if you just have single target, you then have to clear out the small infested with your single target weapon, and it feels really bad. So you want a combination of both. And that is exactly what the Kuva Grattler has. It has great single target, even though it's an AoE weapon, so it shreds the Hemo site pretty damn fast, and there is no spool up either, so you're doing full damage from the get-go. And it has mad AoE as well, so it only takes a few grenades to clear out all the small infested that are constantly swarming you. Then at number 2 we do have the Mausolon, but that is mostly because it has such a large magazine. That is the one thing that took it from 3rd place to 2nd place. The single target, while not quite as good in my experience as the Kuva Grattler, is still pretty decent. However, compared to the Kuva Grattler, the AoE is significantly weaker here. And just a quick reminder, this is just for the Hemo site fight. This is not like, you know, the Kuva Grattler is a better Archgun, it's just a better Archgun for this fight. Also, another plus for the Mausolon is that getting it is super easy. If you've gone through Deimos, you have the Mausolon. You don't have to spawn a Lich and then go through the whole Lich system to get it, like with the Kuva Grattler. In at number 3, we have the Kuva Ayanga, another explosive weapon which has great single target. Once again, I think it has something to do with the explosion. It just makes it easier to hit the weak spots than with the more single target focused weapons. And overall, it's just, for this event at least, slightly worse version of the Kuva Grattler. The single target is not quite as good, the AoE is compatible, the magazine size is not quite as good, and the reload is pretty long. So, as I've said, a slightly worse version of the Kuva Grattler here. My main issue with the Kuva Ayanga is with the projectiles. They are not the fastest, and they also arc downwards quite a bit, so hitting the weak points, especially from farther away, is much more difficult than with a lot of the other Archguns. And that's pretty much it as far as like really good Archguns for this event goes. The other Archguns generally have some kind of an issue with them. Like for example, the Duo Desurion has great single target, but it has no AoE and it has a tiny magazine, so you're gonna run out all the time. The Cortege has great AoE, so it's very nice for dealing with a small infested, and it's also pretty easy to hit the weak point since it's just a beam-based flamethrower, but the single target is not great. And the Imperator Vandal, a weapon that usually performs really well, is actually pretty bad because it has no AoE, so dealing with a small infested is a nightmare, and the spool up absolutely kills it when it comes to dealing damage to the Hemo site, since by the time you're fully spooled up, the weak point is pretty much gone. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to do something different for the Plaguestar and you want to go with an Archgun instead, definitely bring the Necramech if you have it set up. I wouldn't recommend an unmodded Necramech because it's just gonna blow up as soon as something sneezes on it. And the weapons you want to bring are the Kuva Grattler being number 1, Mausolon number 2, and the Kuva Ayanga at number 3. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say, so I thank you very much for watching as always, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.